Hello and a warm welcome back to you all. So in this video we're going to look at DMUs, EMUs, lighting and all the gremlins that cause us grief. Now just using this for an example, have you got a loco that lights up one way and then when you reverse it the lights don't go on the other way, but this one does? So in a two-car unit you'd have lights on, no lights off on this side, but when you travel the other way they might all come on. So this is the sort of problems I'm addressing really, and also some little glitches with the head codes on the 416 I've noticed. So with the lighting, and it's always best to take them completely apart, take a photograph of what you're doing. Even I do that, even though I know what I'm doing, but I take a photograph as I'm doing each stage so I know how it all goes back, because it makes the reverse process very easy. With the lighting you'll find that there could be two problems. On the motor unit you have these two little lugs either side that feed power to the rest of the unit or down to the drawbar. So these are quite common. They're like a little plate and has a rubber bung that goes over that fitting, and there's a little hole where the wire goes in and it just traps the wire to the PCB board. Now I have found that one of them little wires, the solder broke, and therefore was like 1 thou gap, and that 1 thou gap wasn't going through the board, making the connectivity feeding the back power to the little rods at the back there. And of course you've got one will be forwards and one will be backwards, so you know, you think, well, in logic terms you think if one of them touches should be fine, but obviously when you throw the power the other way this is then isolated on one of them corners. So that's a 1 in 4 sort of problem. If they're all good, that's your halfway there, and I'd advise using a test meter on bleed doing this, so you can literally touch one side, touch the rod, make sure that's going continuously, touch that side, touch that rod, make sure that that's got power going through to it, and then you test from these two copper rods down through the drawbar to the other side, and then through eliminating through your carriages, your trailer car. Incidentally, this is the second problem you can get, is the drawbar itself, the wires connecting to these little plates there, they come unsoldered quite often because this takes a lot of the strain going around the curves. This takes all the weight of the train really, and all the trailing cars, so as I've mentioned before. So do check the wires in there, do a test meter on these little parts. These and the other drawbar couplings, they've got 2, this one's actually got 3 on, so there's little plates that slide into each other like male and female, so definitely check them out. They have caused me many issues. The little wire looks like it's touched, but it just comes off and it's then not touching the metal plate that's providing the power to the trailing car. Definitely check them out. So that's how I do my testing and how I find my problems, and I've eliminated quite a few problems with lighting, and now I've got them sorted, so I'm really happy. I got it, this one had a problem with it, it was not lighting that way, and my 101 I had the same problem again. Once I reversed it all the lights came on one end but not on the other, which is annoying because it's nice to have tail lights and back lights, all that kind of things, and have it all working. So and I think the 101 I got an exhibition at reduced silly price because it didn't have reverse lighting, so I've now fixed that. So that's all good. The other issue that I want to address is these head codes, not so much on this SEP but on the 416. On the 416 specifically, it has a white head code on the driving unit and a red head code on the reverse, so therefore you drive it forwards it's white, and then when you reverse it it's driving backwards on a red light. Now that could signify shunting, which is okay, but for me I would like it to do a passenger loop, forwards and backwards, red one end and white on the other. That's how we run all our locos. So for me to rectify that, literally when I had it all apart I noticed there's a little PCB board at the end with 2 LEDs on. Now one of those LEDs would have been red, and I think that's a problem back in the designer stage back in many years ago, and I think back in 2010 Bachmann did readdress the issues with the 416, and they did apply it out to everyone to say if you've got a problem we can fix it, but that it was only a very short window and that's finished and gone, and now you don't have that right. So I think Bachmann definitely picked up where they had a there was a fault, but that window has been and gone. I've bought many of these since, and now I'm left with that knowledge. So for me, it's an easy fix and it's not a problem. I don't have to change any PCB boards. I don't have to rip anything out. It's literally a little touch up that you can change these back to white on both ends and then have a red light shining through. So what I'll do, we'll go down to the bench and I'll show you how I've rectified the problem having a red or white light in the unit. So taking the 416 head coach, as you can see, the back end is red and the forward end is white colour. Now I like my locos to go forwards and backwards showing white or red, so I'm going to correct the lens colour and then address the LED. Now the LED itself is actually manufactured as white, it's a white LED, and the top LED under my test was the reverse. Now this should have been done at manufacturing. An easy red LED would have fixed that by just taking a cocktail stick and dabbing a little bit of red acrylic on top of that top bulb or LED, just building up a little layer, is corrected the problem, creating a mask to colour the lens. So that's what I've done and it works really well. Just don't do the bottom one because that's your white LED. Okay, so onto the head code removal. Now, a little bit fiddly. As you can see between the two copper strips, there is a little tiny lens in the middle there, and that is your lens that shines through with the aperture of the red or white light. Now, to remove this, it's quite fiddly. So if you get a scalpel blade and gently just manipulate it underneath, just teasing it up slightly bit by bit. Take your time on this. Time is really key for this, and it will eventually just come out. The plastic at the end there is quite thick, so you shouldn't really do any damage. So just gently just tease it up and then that will pop out. Okay, so we've removed the red lens and you can see the aperture that's left afterwards, and there's a couple of little glue marks inside, and that is about the amount of glue that you need to reattach it. As you can see, I've got two red squares. I need to scratch out them two red squares to make the whole lens clear. Now if I did the whole lens itself, I could use some T-cut, something like that, and grind it back down, and then I'd have to literally remask some transfers to create the window aperture. I'm going to cheat, scratch out the two little bits in the middle, and I'm going to blast them over with some white from behind. So I've just been down the shed and blasted over the back of the little lens with some white, and I've used some marker pen just to straighten up them little lines where I scratched the area I needed, and that gives me a white aperture and a white on the back, but looking from the front I'll have two square little white head coats. Now it's a case of just manipulating that back into place, just making sure you've got it fitted where it needs to be, and then it would be a case of just gluing it back in. And as you can see, I now have two white head coats, and you wouldn't know the difference. So when I put the forward or reverse, the LED lens will actually shine to the colour that I need. So a nice little easy job, nice to get something easy. So just going to paint the seats over and probably add some little people in there, just so when you look in, it just looks a bit more as it should be. I've just put a bit of plastic card sort of down over the floor as to sort of mask the seats out, and I can just move that around. Just saves the floor getting splattered with paint. Finally, it wouldn't be complete with adding drivers and sort of changing the interior of that cab. One end of the unit was actually a very green colour, so it didn't match with the other end. So I've repainted the cabs to actually suit. As you can see, this one's a green colour and the other one is a grey. So I'm going to match that in, and then I think it's time to add a little driver either end. Now I'm just using a Humbrol paint. You can see there, I think it's matte 67. Yeah, just paint that in, and I think we'll stick it all back together again. So my conclusion, this is the 416, and with the head codes changed, and if I switch it to reverse, you have the red head code and forward will be white, and that's the same on both ends. I've now got all my lighting working, so all the lights run in both directions, otherwise they would go off, so that's all good. I've got no issues there. So all in all, a great fix, and certainly one to sort of investigate if you have these problems. So another successful little video in my mind, repairing, trains are beeping like mad today, repairing the lighting on my DMUs or EMUs, my 2 and 4 car units. I've still got a couple more to do, but as you can see, I've got them running nice and smoothly by giving them a good clean out. I literally have re-cleaned all the bearings and all the cogs inside the wheels, because these Bachmann, they've got these plastic cogs in, like many of them. So I literally get a toothbrush, clean them all out. And you'll be surprised how much a little bit of dust on a synchronous gearbox can cause a lot of strain. It puts strain on the motor, and it also causes a lot of strain on the decoder. So obviously cleaning them gearboxes out, re-greasing them with a plastic grease, certainly will get them running a lot smoother than they were before, and they'll be like brand new, and they'll last you a lot longer. So this is what I've been doing for the last few months, literally stripping out gearboxes, cleaning them all up, putting them back together. And when you're doing it, take photographs, because it's just the best way. We can pick it up and put it down, and it's not very stressful when you're not left with a loco sitting on the bench in pieces with screws everywhere and you can't remember where anything goes. So that's my key bit of advice. As to greases and oils, you can buy remote control car stock for that. They're models at the end of the day, they work on the same basis. I would buy a premium product. It will last you a complete lifetime, a little pot like that. They're not that expensive, if I'm honest with you. I have remote control cars, and I've got the greases and some of the shock oil, that kind of thing, the silicone oils. So I use all of that kind of thing. And I don't use vast quantities. It's literally just a toothpick and a touch on the, I just add them to the points in your manual where it says where to oil your loco. So, and there's plenty of sheets on, they're pretty much generic. So definitely oil, maintain your vehicle, your locos. You wouldn't do it in your car, so these are expensive, almost the cost of a small car. So at the end of the day, it's worth putting that effort in. Lighting's now running. That's all good, as I said. So I'm happy with that, and I've fixed some of the issues that were annoying me. As for me, Gary, I've now finished work. My work has come to an end, sadly. So I'm now taking time out for me, doing some visiting, some travelling around the country, hopefully exhibitions when they get back in. I'm really looking forward to an exhibition, chilling out and meeting some guys, spending more time at exhibitions. I really would like to do that. But we have to see how things go and how we are or aren't allowed to do things. So that's really where that sits. Other than that, I've got some plans of work for myself, but that's in the short time to come. At the moment, just taking a bit of time out to be around my kids and my grandchildren. That is the most important thing that I have to do, or part that I have to do. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and having a little bit of fun in the same process. So yeah, God, I need some fun. So yeah, that's really where I sit, and then we have to see what my future plans look like. So until next time, I will crack on with some more videos. Crack on or crap on? I'm sure that said crack on. I will crap on. Now I will crack on with some more videos and try and do a bit more things and just little projects that I've been doing. But hang in there, and I'll try and bring some more antics, some video of me going out and about and all that kind of thing. So hopefully more to come, and try and keep a bit of me going. So that's all from me. As we will say, look after yourselves, and I shall see you all very soon. Cheerio.